Hi there. Today's video is about narcissist. The current buzzword seems to be the narcissist. My partner is such a narcissist, and I'm hearing this everywhere, whether it's with clients who come to me. That's one of the very first statements they say. I hear this in conversations with other women all the time. It's my partner's fault. They're so narcissistic. Even on podcasts and radio, TV interviews, that's one of the first questions that they ask me. Well, is it because they are narcissists that they're not getting along, or that there are challenges? This is really a concern for me. I understand coaches and therapists need to support their clients, but I also feel that this is keeping their clients stuck in feeling victimized, a victim, and powerless to change the situation. And it's also a situation where we're blaming the other person. Relationships are 100%. And yes, I understand the other partner might not be able to engage with you and you feel really stuck and frustrated, but there are reasons for that as well. Here's the actual definition of a narcissist: having an excessive interest in oneself and one's physical appearance. Here's some synonyms describing it: vain, self-loving, self-admiring, self-absorbed, conceited, self-centered, egotistic, full of oneself. This concerns me because you are not looking at taking responsibility for what's going on, especially for yourself. And what I mean about that is you have a responsibility to change how you're acting and reacting, which often shifts the relationship. So we all can be self-focused when getting our needs met, because this is a survival technique that we developed in childhood. Personality is formed about the age of 7, when we figure out that I need to be a certain way to get the most love and attention in my family. So we start to develop roles and patterns that become unconscious, and they become our identity as well. And we're not aware that this is what is running, or that when our needs feel like they're being met is when people are responding to us in a way that we need. The other thing in relationship is expectations. We all look out with our own prescription of eyeglasses, expecting our partner to understand how we feel, understand what we need, and that's impossible for them to do. They've had different life experiences, they're different personalities, so of course they're not going to understand. And we've come into relationships with some levels of dysfunction. I used to tease my boys with all the time saying, it's not that we're not dysfunctional, because I think every dynamic is dysfunctional to some way. It's the level of dysfunction. And some people have come from backgrounds where there's a lot of wounding and healing need to come on. So there's a lot that goes into relationships. And when you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle coming together, it's pretty hard to understand each other at the deep level that you need to feel that validation and love. Here's a statistic for you. 2/3 of what couples fight about are individual personality perspective differences, and are irreconcilable unless you understand your personality couple dynamics. Some personalities are naturally more confident and more self-spoken, and some people have done more growth before they get into a partnership. So if one person is more outspoken or confident, the other one is less confident, that changes the dynamics. Or if one is more assertive than the other, if you haven't yet learned to have a voice, to speak up, to share what you're feeling and communicate your needs. But here's the thing, most people are unaware of what their core fundamental emotional need is unless they've understood and learned their personality Enneagram. And if they haven't come to a place of loving themselves yet, it's very difficult to give the love to another person until you've experienced that for yourself and understand it for yourself. For me, it wasn't until I learned my Enneagram that I really learned about my worthiness to other people, what they valued in me, those funny little quirks that I have, or my strengths. That gave me my foundation. And then it also showed me my challenges, and those stung a bit when I read those. But those are the things that I work on to, and when you step into your challenges, that's where your power is. That's where your growth is as a person. You become a well-rounded person. You accept all the parts of yourself. And so in my experience, all 9 personalities can be narcissistic if we're going to use the definition. So I'm going to go through the 9 personalities, and I'm going to tell you how they can be a little self-centered in getting their needs met. So the 1 perfecter came to understand that they needed to be good as a child. And so they work to be good and right. They have an internal critic that's always judging what they're doing for themselves. So they're hard on themselves and they're hard on other people. And so their partner can feel that they're narcissistic. Well, it has to be your way all the time. And your way is the only right way to do things, because the perfecter can really stand on those rules and those right and wrong ways. The 2 supporter personality is a helper-giver personality. And they can be very narcissistic when they have a need to help. They have a need to be needed. They can insert themselves in other people's lives before growth, before understanding what they need and how to get their needs met differently. The 3 achiever personality can look very narcissistic from the outside, because they like to share with you about their accomplishments and the money they make and the things they buy with that money, so they can appear very narcissistic. The 4 expressor personality, that's very internalized, can be very moody, can have mood swings, are also very sensitive, and they can appear narcissistic when they're internalizing their feelings or wanting you to respond to them in that very deep emotional way. The 5 contemplator can be very narcissistic because they need time and space to themselves. They feel there's always a lack of resources of time, money, and energy. So they can have very strong boundaries that are going to keep people away, so they can protect the time for themselves, and that can seem very narcissistic to partners. The 6 questioner personality is a fear-based, fear, worry, anxiety, and they go to extreme lengths for this, to make sure that they are safe and secure. Did we lock the door? Is the iron off? Or you said you were going to be home at a certain time and they're calling you because you're 2 minutes late. That can appear very narcissistic and intense for their partner until they understand what that need is and they can respond to it. The 7 optimist personality, they like to have fun. They focus on new possibilities and adventures all the time, and they often don't look at the consequences. So it can be challenging for a partner when they're off always having fun. That can appear narcissistic. The 8 assertive personality is a strong assertive personality. They are more confident than others. They often take charge of situations. So they can seem narcissistic in getting their own way, controlling different situations. The 9 peace seeker personality, they focus on peace, harmony, and no conflict. So when they don't speak up, when they're not sharing with their partner their needs, when they're using passive-aggressive behavior, that can appear narcissistic. We all are narcissists because ultimately we are looking to get our needs met, because when they're met, then we feel loved. Here's the thing. When we start working on ourselves and we have that growth, when we learn our Enneagram, and we learn what patterns are sabotaging us and what patterns to specifically change them, we can grow into being a more expansive person. For me, it's absolutely changed my life. I have a strong foundation now, understanding who I am, and I'm not thrown by other people anymore. When I used to be a people pleaser, I could be somebody for everybody. I no longer feel the need to do that. So when you start putting your couple dynamics together, your personalities, understanding your similarities, understanding your differences, Giving to your partner specifically what they need, understanding when they're starting to go into their stress pattern. You can start working together as that team, that loving team, and then you can create that relationship that is conscious, loving, connected, more juicy, and way more fun. We struggle way more than we really need to in relationships. So to wrap this up, here are some key points. How can you shift your behavior and create the relationships you desire? You need to learn your Enneagram personality, all the parts of yourself. You need to learn your couple dynamics. And you need to invest time and money into making this shift for yourself. And I'll tell you, with the Enneagram, you get an operator's manual on how you think, how you feel, how you act, what your communication pattern is, what your anger pattern is. There is so much in there for you, and it is the quickest way to learn how to become the person you're meant to be. And I'll tell you, that feels awesome. So this is what I do. I coach people on this. I offer a free coaching call. My name is Eileen Head. My website is eileenhead.com. Contact me. Let's get you moving forward in your relationship and take responsibility. And please get rid of this term narcissism. Thanks for tuning in today. Thank you, all of you who've given me some comments here. Thank you, Linda and Candace and Scott and Jennifer. Thanks, all of you.